Hi, my name is Zoran. I'm a father of two kids, very special kids with sensory issues. Over the years, taking care of our two kids with their different sensory profiles has taught us a lot about sensory home programs. So we created sensory tips. And perhaps the most important tip to adhere to a sensory home program is to blend the sensory activities into your daily routines. We found that the more we embed sensory activities into our daily routines, the easier it is for us to comply with a sensory home program. Now, the best way to do that is to use sensory habits. We usually think of habits as getting rid of bad habits, like smoking or eating too much, etc. But habits are actually a great thing. Habits make our lives easier. If you think about it, a decision takes a lot of mental energy out of us. Well, in habits, we only make a decision once and then repeat it. And the more we repeat it, the more the habit is reinforced. In the book, The Power of Habits, they talk about the cue, the habit loop, or loop of habits, which includes a cue, a routine, and a reward. Now, what we found out with the sensory home program is that all we need to do is align our own reward with the kid's reward. And then we got ourselves a sensory habit. Let me give you an example. Morning routines are always hard. Kids find it very difficult to get out of bed in the morning, and sensory kids are probably harder than most kids. Now, what we do today is we do a jumping competition out of bed. First, we jump high in the bed, and then we try and jump as far as we can out of the bed. Our reward in this example is getting out the door on time, getting ready on time, and getting out the door for school on time. And for them, it's playing and the sensory activity of jumping out of bed. Now, the beauty of habits is that you won't have to chase your kids reminding them of sensory activities. They'll come remind you about the different activities they need to do. For example, we live on the second floor. It took me only a couple of times of going into the building and instead of taking the elevator, convincing my kids to climb up the stairs. Now, whenever we go into a building, as the old horse, I go straight to the elevator. Well, my kids, hey, Daddy, let's run up the stairs. So they actually took control of their own sensory home program. Bedtime routines are no different. My wife usually reads the kids some book before they go to sleep. Well, all we had to do is place the bookshelf in a different room than where we read the books. Now they need to choose the books they want and carry them to the other room as another sensory activity, which is aligned with our own sensory habits. Another good example is laundry. Our little girl loves to pull the laundry out of the machine, put the laundry in the laundry basket, and then push it around the house like a little buggy car. Sometimes we lift the laundry basket together and carry it, trying not to fall over. So the cue for us is doing laundry, and she really loves all the sensory activities of the sensory habits that go along with doing the laundry. But it doesn't have to be a big ceremonial house chore, morning or bedtime routine. It can be the little things, like when I go to open the door, I hold back, give them a second to open the door, sometimes with a little resistance from me so they could put a little more extra effort. When we go out to the car, we sometimes play pull when I pull them or they pull me so we can get faster to the car. But it doesn't have to be movement type activities. Even quiet activities like painting or drawing can include sensory habits. My wife or I can grab on very strongly to one of the markers they want, and now when they want to draw with it, they need to pull it out of our grip very strongly. Sensory home programs are very hard to maintain. This is why any activity you can make a habit from is one less you need to remember. Over the past 7 years, my wife, who's a neuropsychologist, and I have learned a lot about sensory home programs for our kids and ROTs. This has led us to create SensoryTreat, helping parents adhere to sensory home programs through our sensory tips, our apps, sensory magnets, and more. This short video was about sensory tip of how to blend sensory activities into your daily routines using sensory habits. Thank you for watching.